Good afternoon, everybody, and God bless America and L'chaim, the Hebrew word, the Hebrew phrase to life. Our Judeo-Christian religion honors and values life, the sanctity of life, and the right to have that freedom protected from the outside influence of the government. As to how you raise your children and live your life, preserve life, including your life, and preserving your constitutional rights is what the Family Institute of Connecticut is about. Peter Wolfgang is a true freedom fighter and has served as the executive director of the Family Institute of Connecticut since 2005, and is the 2024 recipient of the Mark W. Anderson Award, named in honor of the founder of the CTRA. Peter is a graduate of the American University and a graduate of the UConn School of Law. He is originally from Manchester and now lives in Waterbury. He is a former school board member in New Hartford, as a parishioner at the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in Waterbury. He spends a lot of his time in Hartford fighting for us and our values, but occasionally he escapes the Northeast for the deserts of New Mexico to visit his first granddaughter, Hazel. It is my honor to present this award to Peter Wolfgang. Here we go. Okay. All right. So the board says, okay, the Mark W. Anderson Leadership Award presented to Peter Wolfgang in honor of his outstanding leadership and tireless work defending our Republican principles and values. Presented on January 27th, 2024.
Wow.
Yeah, sure.
I love the Connecticut Republican Assembly. Thank you. There aren't a lot of groups. You know what I do. You just heard it in the speech. I'm the guy out there, and I'm not alone. Many of you are part of this. Our whole organization is part of this. But I'm the guy out there fighting on the social issues. And I have to tell you, and you know this, you've heard this all day long, even in other Republican circles, even in other supposedly conservative or libertarian circles, there aren't a lot of groups out there in Connecticut that would give me this kindness. So thank you so much. Just recently, I mean, you know the stuff that we do. It's the sort of stuff that you just heard from Kyle. And there are groups that we reach out to that are supposed to be on the right in Connecticut who will tell us, oh, no. We want smaller government, we want lower taxes, but we're not touching that stuff. That's the icky stuff. My wife wanted me to tell if I had an opportunity. I'm like, why would I have an opportunity? Well, now I know why. She wanted me to say that if I were to speak, to let you know that we have our flyers on every table, in that to get our flyers, the Family Institute of Connecticut flyer, and use the QR code on the flyer to contact your legislators, because the session is starting very soon, February 7th. And let me just close with this. I'll be brief because it's been a long day. You guys have heard a lot of speeches. I hope to make the shortest one. What really struck me hearing Kyle speak, and this ties in with what I just said, it's not even, of course, we have Republican right in the name of the organization, of the convention that we're all at today. But I was very, very moved by what he said about, it's not so much about being Republican as about being biblically conservative.
Yes.
And without that foundation, none of the rest of it matters. None of the rest of it is real, as I think we see so often, because the people in this room are rightly frustrated, not only with the other side, but with folks on our side who should stand with us and don't always. Very quickly, assisted suicide is coming up again this session. Representative Josh Elliott put it right out there that the reason they want to pass this supposedly restrictive assisted suicide bill is so that they can come back right away and expand it. If you know what's happening in Canada and elsewhere, where they're about to make it legal to have assisted suicide for the mentally ill, that's what we're facing. So we need you up there for that. They're going to push an abortion amendment onto our state constitution again. We've stopped it repeatedly. They're bringing that back. if any of you happen to see the front page article in the Waterbury Republican today, earlier this week, Representative Jillian Gilchrist, who is the head of the pro-abortion caucus in Connecticut, like Josh Elliott on assisted suicide, these guys are swinging for the fences. She put it right out there that there's this very flimsy restriction against abortion after viability in the state of Connecticut, and they want to get rid of that. They want the abortion amendment to legalize abortion right up until the moment of birth and perhaps beyond. These are the things we're going to be fighting. The Connecticut March for Life is March 20th. That's Wednesday, March 20th. Go to ctfamily.org. That's our website. Sign up. Again, coming back to the stuff that you just heard from the keynote speaker, we have, and you'll see this in the flyer, one of our big pushes this year is a Let Kids Be Kids bill. We want to get a hearing on this because these things that you heard Kyle talk about are happening inside our schools without parental notification, without parental approval, and that is the lowest of low-hanging fruit. Like, you take even the most liberal parent, the sort of parent that maybe brings her toddler to Drag Queen Story Hour, and you ask her, if your child was struggling with gender identity, didn't know if he was a boy or a girl, would you want to be kept in the dark about that? Even the most liberal parent is going to say, no, I would want to be included in that decision. This is very low-hanging fruit to get this. And look, why do we need this? Look at, we have the Moms for Liberty table here. Check out the books. Check out the horrible, horrible books that they're pushing on our very young children on the schools here in Connecticut. You heard Kyle refer to, he got hit with this distinction between, well, do you know what the difference is between a pedophile and a minor-attracted person? How many of you know that in the Family Institute of Connecticut, and our allies, Chris Healy from the Connecticut Catholic Conference is here today as well, how many of you know that last year the state legislature passed a modernizing of our anti-discrimination laws in Connecticut that opens up the door for a minor-attracted person to claim that he's discriminated against if he's not allowed to be a bus driver or work at a daycare center. Family Institute, we were the group that identified this in the law and gathered a coalition and fought against this. And we were able to get some small concession from the legislature about an affirmative defense if a Christian business owner is accused of this. But this still became law. So this is still a possibility. That's what we're facing here in the state of Connecticut. You heard Kyle mention the FOI requests and how important they are. How many of you know, if you go to ctfamily.org's website, just in the last week or so, that the Family Institute revealed an investigation that we have done using the FOI requests to discover that at Hartford Hospital, your tax dollars are being used to pay for the genital mutilation of minor girls in the state of Connecticut. Go to ctfamily.org. It's all there. This stuff is happening across the board. I am so honored to get this award. I'm going to close with that. And I just want to say, I love you guys because of those 13 principles, because that underlie this group, that you have the sanctity of life right in there, that you have traditional families in there, the real families. And I have to say, again, there are other groups in the state of Connecticut that claim to be right-leaning, right-center, whatever. They're not. They don't really stand with us for biblical conservatism, all the things Kyle discussed. We do, and I'm so honored to be honored by you guys for that recognition. We are one. You're my people. Thank you very much.